Hey guys, next review. Sorry it took me a little while to get to this one. It's been a busy last couple weeks and the book I read was enormous. So, The Passage by Justin Cronin. I never know how to say people's names. Anyways, it came out in 2010. I was looking for some really good dystopia fiction books and this one was up on the list. I don't know, somehow I missed it. Came out in 2010. I was in college at that time, so that must have been why. It's a trilogy, the last of which just came out last year. He definitely took his time between them. I guess I'd normally start out by saying that it's a vampire book, but it's not. When people hear vampire, they think of Twilight, and it's not that by any figment of the imagination, at all. It's so much more than that. I said in a snap the other day that it was really weighty, like Goblet of Fire weighty, but I'm pretty sure this is even bigger than that. It's 766 pages, and I'm telling you, the print is smaller than your average book. I read a lot on my Kindle, but I also get books from the library. Look at that. And then look at that. Completely different. So it took me a while, probably 2.5 weeks. That's a really long time for me to read a book. So it's not for the faint of heart. You have to commit to it. And it's not a light read. It's going to take you a bit of time to read it. It's pretty dark, dangerous, and sometimes disturbing. Was that enough D's? I don't know. I'm not going to classify it as young adult. I'd definitely say it's more adult. There are some young adult characters in it, but I still wouldn't say it's a young adult book. So let's talk about it. It is post-apocalyptic. The government experimented on criminals, and later this little girl named Amy was also experimented on. These experiments go nightmarishly wrong in a vampiric way. Don't think you're typical vampires. Not those at all. In the beginning of the story, we follow a 6-year-old named Amy and a special agent who's been assigned to pick her up to take her to be experimented on. Stuff goes down. Later, we time hop into the future about 100 years, and this is where we meet this colony of people who are living together that have kind of found a way to survive amongst all these creatures. They're thought to be maybe the last humans in the area, which this is based in North America, United States. They're not really sure what's going on in the other countries because they don't have any communication. And this was a virus that spread. I'll give you that. I don't want to give you too much, but it was a virus that spread from the experiments. And that's where we got these vampiric beings. Throw in our girl Amy, who's still hanging around after 100 years of being tested on. And all these, we meet these 20-somethings. I think they're probably in their 20s, young 20s. So that's why I say there is some young adult characters that are hanging out at the colony and all working together, and they meet Amy, and she kind of throws their whole world for a crazy turn, and they kind of go on an adventure to see if they can help save their destroyed world. I felt towards the last quarter of the book there was times where maybe it could possibly end, but I'm glad it didn't. I thought maybe near the end it also might be just a solo novel, but that's not the case either. There are 2 more, and normally I would have felt kind of strung along, maybe the author was just trying to make a quick buck by extending the story, because there has been a lot of books where I have not even finished it because I'm really, you couldn't have just ended it, you gotta keep it going. But this is not the case with this one at all. He put a lot of time, and it's really deep, and I can see why he'd want to make it more books to make sure all those loose ends get tied up, and there are a lot of moving parts to the story, so you definitely would want to have good closure. What else? I could talk about this book for a really long time because it's so long and there's so many parts to it that I feel like I've just barely grazed the surface, but I know if I just start going, I won't stop. So I'm just going to leave that there at the description. There are a lot of parallels that are connected in this book, and a lot that I probably didn't even get or understand because I feel like I'm not that cultured or that deep of a person, but somebody else that maybe was could probably explain them to you. But they're there. I sensed them. There was definitely some heavenly connections in a sense of a greater purpose for all these events. Those ones I clearly get. They're right out there, laid out there for you. I know that I'll eventually read the other books, but it's definitely something that I want to come back to slowly over time. It's probably a book that I could pick up and continue reading in between other books when I want a break. I'm hooked, but I wouldn't say I just want to like devour the other ones just because I know how long they are, and I just feel like right now I can't commit that time to it. I'd want to be able to just sit and read, and I don't really get that opportunity anymore with my baby running around. So maybe if he wasn't around for a day and I could just sit, I'd immediately pick up the other one. Next on the docket is this one, which is Beyond the Red. It's the book that the library purchased for me. I love being the first one to open a book. I started it this morning just a little bit. So that one. And then an author just gave me his book that just came out like 2 weeks ago. It's called Echo Island. It's a young adult book. I feel like just from the description it seems like it's some sort of environmentalist type one, but it looks good. So I'll be reviewing those next. So until then, happy reading.